lounging, son.
Welcome back to another episode of the Comic Lounge Podcast, guys. I am your host, the Immortal Irondale, with my boy, my hype man, my spliff star, Bars Balcom.
Woo! Go. Yeah, I love that. I'm here for that. I will take that every week.
And today for our weekly read, first off, I'm finally back. I want to thank Jen for filling my spot while I was on my little hiatus because life is rough.
It is. Let me tell you.
So thank you again. Thank you, Jen, for filling my spot while I was away. And today we're going to be talking about a very personal favorite of mine, The Wretch by Phil Hester and Friends.
Yes.
And Friends. Like, the reason why I say and Friends is because there's so many people aside from Phil Hester who worked on this.
So many different inkers.
Yeah,
which I thought was great. I knew that the inker I most associate with his work is Andy Parks. Yeah. And that's because my discovery of Phil Hester was Kevin Smith's Green Hero. And I'm like, it was so different than like art styles that I liked before, I would say, because I feel like I don't want to say my what I liked was generic, necessarily generic style, but this was like very different, blocky. It wasn't something I was used to, but because of Kevin Smith writing it and Green Arrow being one of my favorites, I of course had to pick it up. But I love Phil Hester's art, and he's so unique.
You know what Phil Hester's art kind of reminds me of, and I think this plays into nostalgia for me. But it's great. I mean, it's great art. It's like kind of like Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's like Batman and like the Superman stuff. Just like the way the bodies are formed, and and like how the jaw lines are drawn, and kind of like the weight in the lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is a black and white book, and this thing is. There's a lot of black space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of black space. But the thing is, it kind of adds because the Wretch is essentially like a shadow.
Yeah.
Right?
And he doesn't talk.
No, he doesn't. All right. So, quick little synopsis before we get into this.
Yeah.
The Wretch is this weird superhero or hero or thing or myth. I don't know. Like, he's a weird superhero for a weird-ass city, Glass City. And if needless to say, there's a lot of weird shit that happens in Glass City. Like, Volume 1 only scratches the surface. It gets weirder.
I mean, I'm here for the weirdness, but I was just like, I'm reading, like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening? like I said it before we started, like, I didn't know what to expect. The three, like what you said, I already said it, but I'll say it again. The three things. Dylan recommended it, black and white, Phil Hester. Okay, I'll read it. And but I like The Wretch. I'm like, okay, he's the main character, but he's really not though. He's just in the background, and like, you have like the dog issue like story. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's just really weird, but good. It's weird in a good way, and that is, like you said, like, and Friends, like, it's just a series of short stories.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't know how he. I mean, I kind of glanced at the way he said he released them, like through slave labor, Caliber, all that stuff. But like, these easily could have. I'm assuming maybe almost mini comics, or they were backups in other. Like, I don't think there was like a Wretch #1.
No,
right?
No, I don't think so either. There wasn't a Wretch. I feel like whatever he was drawing in or anything he was a part of, he kind of just threw those stories in there. So what The Wretch is, which is available in an omnibus now, or like, what do you call? There's just a bunch of short, weird stories. But the thing is, okay, as weird as they are, there is a certain amount of heart that goes into each story, right? Like one of my favorites in this is Snow, the one about the snowman.
I love that one. That was one of my favorites too.
Yeah, and this panel setup right here is one of the most beautiful panel setups I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
It starts off, with a circle, and then you pan out, and it turns into a gun, but then you pan out to another circle, and it's a ring. It's a beautiful story about, like, racism and acceptance. it's really well told. A lot of the stories in here are very well told. Like well,
They have
another one that
heavy
stands
themes.
out.
They have heavy themes. Like that's
Yes.
something I took away from it, but not in a sense that like the story feels like, oh man, this is heavy. But he's talking about like real shit, real like
Yeah.
small problems, but told within this realm of Glass City, and the Wretch always
Yeah.
has a hand in whatever's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And all this stuff is great, dude. Is the baby story in here? I forget. You didn't read that one yet? There's a
Like
story with raining
babies
babies.
raining from the sky.
Yeah, there's a story with babies raining
Oh,
from the
it's not.
sky.
It's not in this one.
Oh shit. Well, okay.
That's all
Well,
good.
there's a story with babies raining in the sky. That's okay. Well, you'll get to that one. But okay, the there's a story in here. There's definitely here because I'm looking at it. It's the one
Yeah.
with the world destroyer,
Oh,
with
I love it.
everyday doomsday.
Yeah, the Kirby story.
Yeah,
Like that's what I felt Jack Kirby, and I would say like he's like and why it fits so well to me is he's kind of like a darker, like a dark multiverse version of Kirby, I guess. I don't know how else to kind of word it, because he's like there's way more inks, but he has like that very stylized look to his art, very like sharp lines, sharp edges. And Kirby
yeah,
had that, I would say, more towards the end of his career. Like maybe earlier on, the lines were a little softer, not quite as like, not
yeah,
sharp edges, but I like that story a lot. And I
yeah,
like that it was just all the writing was on the side, and then we
yeah,
just got the art. I mean, he had the Kirby crackle in there, I think. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And then one of my favorite things in this is how he chooses to fight the giant, right? The
Hmm.
world destroyer, and he goes to church, and he
Yeah.
gets he goes to church and he kicks the podium. He's like, fuck this podium, and he gets. I don't even know what to call those things. It's a pull and speak, right? Is that what it is? A pull and speak, and then the arrow spins around, and the cow goes moo. But
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah,
yeah, but it's
yeah. I'll,
God.
I'll I'll throw up. I'll throw up an image of what those are, because it's like, what the fuck is that? That's how he defeats him. It was so
Yeah.
funny, dude. Um,
Yeah, and then the little the little pull and speak thing gives a definition as between good and evil, and it's not
mhm.
good and evil. It's something else. I'm not gonna ruin it for it because that quote is one of the most beautiful things I've ever read. Like it's much like the other themes in this. It definitely touches heartstrings in strange ways. It's like this
Yeah,
weird book makes you feel things weirdly, but they're good things. Like you know what I
yeah.
mean?
The one that stood out to me the most was the Magic 8 Ball, or the Crystal
Yeah.
Ball. That story was really good because, like, this
Yeah.
teacher, right? It's like, and then you see all these kids are each going through their own shit. Once, like, bulimia and anorexia. I can never, I never get.
Anorexia. Okay, I might be wrong. Please, like,
Yeah,
correct me in the comments if
yeah.
I'm wrong. But I think anorexia is where you don't eat, and bulimia is where you eat but throw it up.
Okay, so this young girl, right? So she's
Yeah.
bulimic, right? And then the other one is gay, and he's dealing with that, and the other one's dealing with like God and believing. So like
Yeah.
in this, so it's this fucking thing is feeding off of their fear, and then you learn it's like the teacher that's like kind of like do it. I was like, oh, dude, this is a dope story, like that, and that's kind of the feelings I got with each one. But that one was the
Yeah.
one that kind of resonated with me and kind of sat with me. Like as I was reading it, I'm like, this is the one I have to talk to Dylan about, because that's a powerful story. And the way
Yeah.
the Wretch comes in and like how they defeat it and how you realize what this crystal ball is doing, like I really love that story. I thought that was really good. Besides the snow story, I like the snow story. I like the panel structure of the snow story. I keep
Yeah.
saying snow story.
It's called snow.
Yeah, but and I think that like especially that story like really benefited from the black and white,
Hmm.
because it made the wordless moments like really striking and powerful. And I think that that's what I love about black and white comics, is that when you take out the color and you're not distracted by all the different colors on the page, which to me, I'm not saying I don't like colored comics, but it can be it's an added level of what you're paying attention to.
Yeah,
right.
It's just more stuff to the senses. You know what I mean?
Right. So when it's black and white, you're just looking at raw, to a sense, raw art, and
especially in comics.
Yeah, and it's powerful. I mean, we talked about this yesterday when we talked Future State Gotham, and how you even said like the color would have made it a completely different book, and it would have, because you just don't get that same. There's not that same feeling, that same energy. And I love Phil Hester's art. I love that it's in black and white, and I'm ashamed that it took me so long to get it, because you had been talking about it for so long.
Okay, the thing is, The Wretch is a very, very obscure comic, right? Very obscure. Like, to the point where I'll talk about it to people and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't until this fool, Mitch Jared's, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Jared's? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mitch, damn it, Mitchell. Anyway, there's a guy at my work. His name is Mitch. And every time I see him, God damn it, Mitchell. And he's one of the dishwashers. So every time I go back there, ain't nothing back here but Mitches and hose. Ziz.
Mitches and hoses. Man, I wish I worked with you in the kitchen.
Dog, I'm a mess. I'm not a mess in the kitchen.
I feel like we would make people quit because they wouldn't want to deal with us together.
Yeah.
we would annoy the shit out of people probably.
Anyway, but yeah. Yeah, it wasn't until Mitch Ross posted that he got an early copy of the Omnibus that I was like, oh my God, people know about this. Like, oh my God, like this, it makes me so happy. Like this book makes me happy. I reread Volume 1 at least once a year. Volume 2 and 3 are great too. Like I said, the Rain Babies. That's the Rain Babies is a beautiful story. I'll just give you a quick synopsis about it. So basically, there's one night a year where the Rain Babies come. And it's these babies made of water, and what the story does, it tells you everyone else's definition of what the Rain Babies are. Like, oh, one woman thinks it's the souls of the aborted children that all never made it to heaven. Another person thinks it's just a bunch of raccoons, just like doing shit on the wall. There's like different definitions, but then at the end of the story, it's and you see the Wretch. He's like chasing the Rain Babies with a bucket, trying to put them in a bucket. It's the funniest thing. So he's just like sitting here trying to figure it out. And then what finally happens is it tells you the story of what the Rain Babies really are, and it's beautiful. It's a sweet definition. It's so nice, dude. This book, these series of books is just fantastic, and I wish that Phil Hester would continue it. I mean, we got one or two new stories in the omnibus, but they were cool. But the thing is, I feel like if he was to like publish like on a monthly basis and give us like kind of like Batman Black and White, where it's like 3 different. He'll do all the art on all of it, but if he gets like different writers for it, dude, oh man, I think the Wretch would like leave a definite footprint on comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and give him the exposure.
And he's not really doing anything right now. Like, he did that 2-part Superman story, but
I think
it was a tease. It was just a tease.
Yeah, and he did Family Tree with Jeff Lemire. So I mean, I don't know if he's doing anything. I don't know if he has anything coming up. But I feel like for the people who know about the Wretch and what the Wretch is about down to its core, I feel like if he does all the art, get some dope inkers for it, and have great writers write for him. Just little shorts. Just to incorporate. And the thing is, like you said, the Wretch, although the comic is titled The Wretch, he's not the main character here. What really is the main character is the city itself. Glass City is the main character. He's just kind of like he's a tool to move the story along, right?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he doesn't talk. There's and the funny thing is, even though he doesn't talk, there's so much attitude in his body language that you can almost tell. Yeah, the eyes.
And the eyes are just white. It's just white over black. Like, there's no like real definition to the eyes, but you can see like by the shape that it's dope, dude. Like, you're saying other writers. I wouldn't mind if Phil Hester wrote it and had different inkers.
Yeah.
Doing the line work or something, like maybe not such heavy blacks, but kind of playing more with like gray tones. Even he could, you know what I mean? Because like this was the thing about this was made a long time ago, right? Like Phil Hester has grown as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's grown it as a writer as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would be interesting to see him jump back into this. Like, do a Kickstarter then. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason why we can't get more work from Phil Hester in this world with the Wretch and Glass City if a publisher doesn't want to take the chance with it for whatever reason, you know, Kickstarter it. Because there's fans. And like there was a Kickstarter for another project and the omnibus was offered as a part of it. I think for whatever reason, I think like I had my card on there. I was really pissed. And it didn't collect the pledge and I didn't pay attention that I needed to change the card and I lost out on it. Yeah. So I mean, whatever. It's not like I can't get these. I have, like I said, I have book 1 and book 3. I got to get book 2. I mean, I know, like obviously, I don't need to read them in order. So I'm gonna read book 3, and then I'll probably pick up book 2 as soon as I, get some extra money or whatever. But
I love the homages. There's like multiple homages in this. Like when the Wretch is fighting the Destroyer, he literally looks like Shazam. He has the Thunderbolt. He has the Thunderbolt and the bracelets.
Just sticks it on his fucking chest.
Yeah, he rips it off of a skateboard and puts it on his chest. I love that. I also like how his costume kind of changes throughout the stories too. Like in one, he's like completely black. Another one, he like has like arm wraps around his arm and still completely black. Another one, like it looks like he has armor on, but the armor is still completely black, so it kind of follows with his silhouette. And character design as far right down to the monsters, to that weird cultist who is collecting all the junk from the town, to the doctor, to dude, Phil Hester is great, man. Phil Hester is great, and I cannot stress enough. Like I really want more of this.
Yeah,
like if
Phil,
if you're listening.
Yeah, please, Phil. Let's get some more Wretch stories. I mean, I like the story too with like I think it's like the second story. I think it is with the dog. Yeah, the second story with the dog and like the dad's like lost. It's so funny because like it's something serious, but then it ends up being something like not serious by the end because like this dad obviously he's on strike and they need money for the household. He just got home. He's fucking tired or whatever. His guy's picket sign and the wife's like, "Oh, we're renting out." We're gonna rent out part of the house, and it ends up being to one of the scabs that's working at the place that he's on strike from, and then like so that's in the background, right? Yeah. But this kid wants a dog, and like all of a sudden there's like this giant fucking dog that just comes into the story that just made absolutely no sense, but I loved it. And then by the end of it, the dog eats the fucking kid that wants the dog, and you're like, what the?
What the hell just happened?
What is happening, dude? And the Wretch comes in and like knocks it, and then it like it's like stone cracks, and then in the happy ending, kid has the fucking dog, has a little puppy at the end of it, and it's
the story starts off with a guy explaining how he got his dog. It's like, that's such a cute dog. Did you just get him? Yeah. It's like, no, I've had him for like 30 years. It's still a puppy.
Yeah. And the first story too, like this fucking guy that just like steals this comic book for the comic book store, like, and I never knew who was narrating it. Like, like I felt like it was at times it was the main person of that story, right? But then at times I'm like, is the Wretch narrating it? There were moments where I never fully, not every story, but there were moments where I didn't fully like understand like who is talking to us as readers right now.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. Like you said, the writing was good. The art was dope. I couldn't even really tell the difference in terms of like the inking, except there was like, Snow was heavily inked with blacks. Yeah. As opposed to some of the other stories that didn't necessarily have had that much black on the page, a lot more white, finer line. I noticed.
And I really want to take this opportunity to just really stress, if you like, to anybody, if you guys can get your hands on this, like this is premium. This is premium cartooning. This is premium freaking. This is like freaking a comic book writer's workshop. You know what I mean? Like it has everything from action poses to just really dynamic poses to like the utilization of blank space and black. This is friggin' comic books 101. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And right down to its ridiculousness. like
It
right
is. It
down
is
to,
ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but in a good way. I
yeah.
mean, like, I don't want people to like take it the wrong way when we say ridiculous either, because
Yeah.
like, and I mean, from the design of the Wretch to the, and I think that benefited too is that they're shorts.
Yeah.
Because it's just little snippets into the lives of people that are inhabiting the city, and I mean, I'm pretty sure he did work at Marvel and DC. I think prior to Green Arrow. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could have done the research before we talked, but I think this came out before Green Arrow.
Yes.
Because like
Yes.
his style looks even just a little bit more refined from here to what we see in Green Arrow, and then again, like with the more recent Superman stuff and Family Tree, his style has grown again. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I want to just see even more creator-owned stuff from Phil Hester. Like, it doesn't even necessarily need to be the Wretch. Like, I want to see him write, because he's written other stuff too. I think he did a run on Darkness, which he wrote. Yeah, he didn't do the art, but he wrote it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of people don't know that. I only picked it up because his name was. I mean, well, I liked the Darkness back in the day. I did.
Yeah.
But I would dip in and out of the series, but then I saw his name was on it, and I was already a fan because of Green Arrow, and I'm like, I'll pick this up, even though he's not drawing. I'll pick it up because he's writing. It was pretty solid. I don't think I finished it, because I think that was one of the times where like I was like sporadically getting stuff, like stuff wasn't necessarily. I don't even know if I had a pull. Anytime I was collecting and did not have a pull list, which I don't know why I wouldn't have had it, I have gaps. Like I've noticed as I've been going through my collection and selling it, like I'll see like 1 or 2 issues missing. I'm like, God damn it! What an idiot! Yeah, I was like,
am I missing
why would I not have continued to get this? Like I know I was collecting seriously back then. Like, but then like a run like Ultimate Spider-Man, you'll see like I have every fucking issue. I did not miss an issue of that, or Flash, I didn't miss an issue. But if it's more like the indie stuff, and maybe that's because I was picking it up off the shelf, and those weren't necessarily. They didn't have as many copies available in the store.
Right.
Like Darkness, I'm sure was never a heavily ordered book. Once it got to the when did he write it? I don't know if it was like around issue 100 or around the 70s for Darkness, but
I think I stuck with the Darkness up until like maybe issue 30 or 40. The Darkness was dope to me.
Yeah, I mean, I backed that Kickstarter. I got that hardcover, so I still haven't read it. I've had it for like 8 months. Because things come up, especially because of the channel. Like I keep putting books ahead because we talk about it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, Phil Hester's great. He's a great guy. He's a great guy online too. Very interactive with his fans. Remember he posted that picture. Oh, here's a picture of Havoc I drew, and then I digitally inked it.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
And I think he retweeted you.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
He's like, oh man, this is great. Like, yeah,
and he
I'm
followed
like, oh man, yeah. Thanks,
I mean,
Phil,
if you happen to be listening to this, Dylan and I would love to get you on the channel, talk to you together, and kind of great about the Wretch. So
yeah, let's talk more about the Wretch.
I'll reach out to him too, and if I'll coordinate it with you.
Yeah, because I would love to talk to him about the Wretch and how much I love it, and like
I mean, I know how important this book is to you too. So
yeah, this is a really important book to me. And the thing is, it's like it's just one of those things I kind of just stumbled upon. It wasn't like my friend Gabe, the guy who dresses up like J. Jonah Jameson at Comic-Con.
Yeah,
he's the one that introduced me to Volume 1, and I was like, I gotta get this.
Nice.
And then yeah, he was like, yo, it's great. He's like, I picked it. He told me, he's like, I picked it up because of the character design. I didn't know it was gonna be this good. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
I mean, this is an obscure book, and I know it's fucking obscure because I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I know a lot. I'm not trying to like fucking. This is not my ego, but I know a lot about comic books. I know a lot of creators and stuff, and weird comics and stuff. And this isn't even that old, so like that's why to me it's shocking that I didn't know about it, and that speaks to the obscurity of it. Because for a book to be that recent, within the last 20 years, and for me not to have known about it. I mean, I've known about it for like I think a couple of years now since you told me, but I think it had been around for at least 15 when you told me, and I never even heard of it. Not even like a mention. Not an image was not in my head. So I'm glad that you told me to pick the book up.
Yeah.
Told me, yeah, you hit that buy button when we were watching Invincible.
Yeah, we were literally in the car, and then he was like, "Hey, someone has volumes 1 and 3 of the Wretch. Should I get it?" I'm like, "Yeah, hit that shit."
Yeah, I fucking immediately hit that buy button, dude. And yeah, I'm glad we talked about it. I'm glad we're shining a little bit of light onto this book because I think that more people should check this out. It wasn't even that expensive on eBay either. So, and you said there's an omnibus. I haven't seen it.
I think Omaha Press does it. So I think you can pick up the omnibus via Omaha Press, and they print to order. So as soon as you order it, they'll print it and then they'll send it to you. I think it's like $25. It's not even like a crazy expensive omnibus, and you get 2 bonus stories, 1 or 2 bonus stories. They're pretty cool.
So what you're saying is I'm probably gonna have to sell these trades that I bought so that I can buy the omnibus. Oh, you know what? I'll gift them. I will gift these to someone. That's what
Give it to Ari.
Ari
might be into it.
I know. I don't know.
Ari's taste. Ari's taste.
His tastes are.
They're they vary.
No, they're all over the place, which is not a bad thing. Like his taste has expanded so far beyond what I kind of the taste I curated. You know, like where I kind of like I gave him the shit, and it's. I mean, he's showing me stuff. And that's dope, you know, like that's the dope stuff about comic books. Like you shared this with me, I've shared stuff with my brother. My brother's now sharing with me, and it's cool. Yeah, like I'll give these books to him. I'll pick up the omnibus. I think I will give these because he loves black and white too, just like me. He doesn't. He's not like I don't want to say offended, but he's not put off by black and white comics. And I know there are some people that are like,
but some of the best comics are black and white. Some of the best comics are black and white, and like. You know, I mean, Sin City, for God's sakes. Like, you know.
Yeah. Some people are put off by it, man. I mean, like, some people are like, why would you release that book in black and white?
We were talking about yesterday. Remember that guy who came into the store? Who was like, why would
they should charge less. I think even Ed was like, why would Ari release his book in black and white? My brother.
Yeah.
Teddy listening. And I was like, because he likes black and white. You know what I mean? And hey, guess what? All of manga is in black and white, so obviously people don't mind it, you know, like, and I think that kind of helped his book, like, you know, like certain books, like seeing that motion, seeing the manga lines and stuff, like in black and white, or just, you know, gray tones, all that stuff. Like I'm a huge fan of it, and I think that there should be more of it. So again, I'll keep saying it. Phil Hester, please, more Wretch.
More Wretch, dude.
More black
I want to see more of weird ass Glass City. It's a weird ass city, bro. So weird.
Yeah, and I want to ask him: is he a shadow? What, you know what I mean? Like, because there's no definition of lines. Was it because of just the way this book was inked? Like, or does he have some sort of a shape to him? Because all the shape that he has are the bandages that are.
Yeah. I think in one of the later volumes you get kind of like a costume design thing, and like you see that there is something beneath it. Like there is something beneath it. Like there's one panel where he has the armor and the tubes. I don't know if that was in this one.
No.
Oh, there's a costume where he has this armor and tubes.
I mean, the most I see with him is like the shoulder pads.
Yeah, but there's one with armor and tubes. But you know, it's and they show it. It's like half. Like they split it down the middle, and one side is like shaded in black, and the other side you see the armor. But the funny thing is, the armor is the only thing that isn't shaded in black. Everything else is still black. Like.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read more of this, dude. I'm so excited.
It's great.
I'm probably gonna read it today.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me look at 3 and see like what standout stories are in 3. Oh, the Baby Came Back one. That one's good. The Graveyard one is good. Volume 3 is a good one.
Okay, cool.
And in Volume 3, there's a story where everybody gives their definition of who or what the Wretch is.
Oh, cool. Nice. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
that sounds good.
there's a one with the slide. That was a good one too. Like, it's a good book, dude. Like,
Okay.
and the thing is, the third volume is like pretty much the thinnest out of all of them. I think volume 1 and volume 2 are relatively the same, but volume 3 is like super thin. So
Dude,
that one's gonna be
it's still a quick read, so I'm probably gonna like plow through volume 3 then, because I
yeah.
fucking like I started it. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't like. I'm just getting through this book like super fast, but I don't really have anything else to say other than I love the book. Thank you for recommending it, and I
I'm
hope
so glad you
everybody
got to
that
read it. Like it makes me so happy. Like I
yeah
love this. I love sharing the Wretch with people. Yeah, and like I also show the Wretch to people who normally don't read comics because I use the Wretch as a definition of like like what we were saying, like how the stories are absolutely ridiculous, but there's heart to it. You know,
hmm
there's heart to it. There's something substantial beneath all the silliness and the ridiculousness, right?
yeah
And you can do so without dramatic speeches by superheroes and having to say anything or like large scale fight scenes or anything like that, but simply done with like really well done storytelling via pictures. And I feel
mhm,
like the Wretch does that, and it delivers
yeah.
that in every single story that is in it. And I love Phil Hester for it. Like Phil Hester has a special place in my heart because of the Wretch, and
I mean, it's
because
easy
of
to see why.
yeah, it's this is it's a soft-hearted book. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the end of the day, it's like it really definitely leaves an impact and makes you feel things.
Yeah, I'm gonna read two paragraphs from that Kirby-esque story that
Oh
really stood out to me
yeah,
because like I didn't mention it before, but before we get out of here. So he
yeah.
like it's this like world destroyer, right? And he says never before had we encountered such a species. We had never observed a race simultaneously capable of fantastic works of art, music, and science, as well as depraved acts of torture and deceit. Your species was uniquely capable of both breathtaking compassion and heartbreaking cruelty. You were both good and evil. That is the power of Phil Hester's writing. If those two fucking paragraphs don't make you want to pick up this book, you're insane. Because that is the type level of stories that you're getting and like looks into the world of everybody's lives in this city. And that was a really good story. I don't want to like say any more about it, but those two paragraphs when I read them, I remember they really stood out, and I almost forgot to mention it. So I just wanted to say it because
Yeah, no,
it's
this is
fucking powerful.
yeah, and like you said, like there's not really that much dialogue in it. Not really much. There's really not.
No,
And like you said, it's easy plow through. It's just good comic books, dude. Like
yeah,
it's good comic books. It's not it and it not being published by the big two. Like I feel like that gave it like it's charm. It's charm because it's like look what this guy did. He literally made a bunch of short stories and then he put out a graphic novel compiling of all his short stories, and it's great. It's great. It's one of the
yeah.
best things ever.
Yeah, go check this fucking book out, guys. Everybody listening and watching.
Yeah.
I'll throw a link to that. I'll look up the Omaha Press and I'll throw a link down below so people can go pick up the omnibus, make it a little bit easier for you guys to find the
Yeah.
book. But
And
yeah,
and then when you
I
guys
love it.
read about the rain babies, you let me know because that story is fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah, hit us both up because because I'm gonna read it and I want to know everyone's thoughts too. But yeah,
The rain babies.
that's all I that's all I got for the book. I loved
Same.
it, and I can't wait to read more. And next week is week 52 of us doing this podcast. That
One
means
whole ass year.
we've been doing this for a year. Yes, there's way more than 52 videos on this channel. You know, we have the interviews up here. We got our weekly reads now. We've done other stuff, other content. Jen's been on the show. Mario's on the show. My brother's guested. Nick has
Nick.
guested.
Yeah.
But we are.
We need more guests. I wish people's schedules were a little more easier to deal with because I would love more guests.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to guest, hit us up. Hit us up. You can hit Dylan up or you can hit myself up. I will always respond.
Same.
And we're happy to have people on the show. And so we're going to celebrate the 1 year mark of us doing this podcast. And also, we are going to be talking about a book that makes sense for us to talk about when we're celebrating any type of thing. And it has to do with hip hop. Hip Hop Family Tree, Book 1 by Ed Piskor, published by Fantagraphics. Probably now my favorite publisher in comic books, right up there with him. I'm very excited for you to read it. I can't believe you haven't read it yet. I was shocked that you hadn't. I don't even know if you had heard of it when I originally mentioned it to you.
Well, I've been following Ed Piskor for a while.
Okay.
I knew about it.
You did know.
And yeah, I did know about it. And like, it was just, the thing is, it was just like, I should pick this up, but I never did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even. I think I was like, the way I discovered it was I had never seen the single issues because it was published originally single issue format. But I was like walking by Nick's section when I started working there, and I was like, "Well, Hip Hop Family Tree." I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's really good." He's like, "If you love hip hop, you have to read it." And right before lockdown this year, I finally grabbed book 1, and I'm like, God damn, this was so fucking good. And Nick at the time he would deliver shit to my house. I would call him at the shop because he was still doing work. I would put it in order, and he would bring it to me on his way home. And I'm like, dude, you got to read me the rest. I have to read it. And I loved it. But like I said, like, it's not something you can plow through. Like, it's something that there's a lot, right? Because it's the history of hip hop, and it breaks down, not by decades, but little chunks of time. And I'm excited for you to read it, and I'm excited to talk about it next week. So
yeah, no. Actually, the thing is, it's like I had no plans of even actually reading it this soon, right? But then Jose, he's like, Dylan, I saw this, and I saw that it was in stock, and I thought that you would like it. And I'm like, I looked, and he shows us. I'm like, oh, Hip Hop Family Tree by Ed Piskor. It's like, yeah, how'd you know? It's like, no, we talk about it all the time. I've never read it, but we talk about it all the time. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So,
now, is that odd or is that God? That's God working in your life, putting Hip Hop Family Tree on a silver platter. So yeah,
and it was funny too. It came in the same day that my all new Wolverine omnibus came in, and I was like, I gotta buy both. Like, that would be a lot of money.
My all new Wolverine is sitting there waiting for me at the shop. I might even be down to just do an episode of an overview of the entire omnibus with you in the future. I mean, it's gonna be.
Oh, you gotta finish it. You haven't even finished it yet. You only
I just read the first book.
Oh,
the first trade. That's all I read.
Oh, man.
I had told you, I was like, I read the first trade, finally, because you had told me to read it. And I'm like, man, this is really dope. So I immediately went online, and I'm like, there's got to be a complete collection, right? Because we didn't have 2 through 4 at the shop. It jumped all the way to like whatever, I think volume 5 or 6, something like that. And there was no complete collections. There was no omnibus. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. And then, I shit you not, dude. The next day or 2 days later, Tom Taylor tweets out, all new Wolverine omnibus being released in fucking April 22. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Hell yeah. And I the minute that it was on order at Diamond, I put in the order. And then Mario ordered his too, because I told him that it was coming out. And yeah, I'm excited to finally be able to read it, because I've heard nothing but good things, not just from you, but from everybody that's read that series. So
it's she's her own Wolverine, dude. That's like the best I can describe it. Like, I mean, there's one prerequisite for you to be a Wolverine, and that's an immense amount of pain, but also the recovery from that pain. And she does it in stride, and she holds the mantle well.
Okay, yeah, I can't wait. All right, lot of stuff we're gonna be talking about in the future, and we'll I think maybe we'll give a little tease to people next week about like stuff we got in the works, and maybe you and I will hash out a little bit of a schedule of what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, that's all I got for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this chat about the Wretch. Hope you check it out. Come back.
Please check it out.
Yeah.
Give more popularity to the character so we can finally get more Wretch. Please, because I feel like if it becomes all of a sudden in high demand, like, dude, if freaking cartoonist kayfabe just all of a sudden starts talking about the Wretch, I will shit a chicken. That shit will be amazing, and people will pick it up, and it'll be amazing.
But yes, I agree. I think more eyes need to be on this. Like I said, I'll drop that link below to the omnibus once I find it. I'll make sure that it's on the video, and come back next week.
And for people who read digitally, the omnibus is in fact on Comixology. I saw it.
I'll put that link too, even though I think it should be read in print. But well, But yeah, so come back next week. Hip Hop Family Tree, 1 year anniversary of the podcast YouTube channel. It's gonna be a good one. So
yeah.
And then if you're not already following us, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. Follow Dylan at The Dillbot. Throw your comments and suggestions down below. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that stuff, so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.